Alright, I meant to do this video earlier on last week, but since I've been watching the Star Trek The Next Generation movies on 4K that recently came out, go buy those, by the way, if you like Star Trek. Those are really good 4K transfers. They look really good. I've been watching those, so I've been kind of slacking off on doing videos. I know, guys, I'm really bad with the consistency, which is really bad with YouTube. I need to be more consistent when I do videos. But anyway, let's get on with this video. I'm going to talk about Metroid Prime Remastered, my time with it, and what I thought of it, and why I ended up not streaming it. So if you like this kind of video, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, all the good stuff. Anyway, let's get on with it. So I believe I finished Metroid Prime on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday of last week? I don't remember the exact date, but I know when I finished it, I was I was like, okay, now I understand why people like Metroid Prime so much. Because really, I never appreciated how good this game actually was and the game series actually was. Because I assume 2 and 3 are just as good as Metroid Prime 1 is. And I'm not positive on that because I've never played 2 and 3. I probably can't play because it's probably motion control. So the only way I'll be able to play 3 is if it gets remastered on the Switch, which I don't know if it's going to, but God, I hope it does now because I kind of want to play the other two. My time with it was kind of weird because I planned on buying it, but I didn't plan on playing through it as soon as I did because I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this game before it gets like possibly rare or harder to find or whatever. But I think it's gotten more easily, readily available since it first got released physically. So I kind of bought it because of FOMO, but I was gonna buy it anyway. But I bought it mainly because I didn't want it to be like one of the limited release things, like the Super Mario 3D All Stars, whatever. So I bought it, and my wife went and picked it up basically that Friday that it, like the Friday after it came out, because I ordered it from Best Buy, um, and she went out and picked it up. It was actually a Best Buy farther away from us than usual, but that's the only Best Buy that would be available for pickup and not for shipping because I didn't want to ship it. So she picked it up. I left it sealed for like a day or two, and then I was like, you know what? I want to crack this bitch open and play this. And so I cracked it open. I had the Switch plugged in over here because of streaming and stuff. When I would stream Switch games and stuff, um, and I started playing it, but I was like, no. You know what? If I'm gonna play this game, I'm gonna play it on the 4K TV that I have because I never actually plugged in my Switch over there, which it actually looks way better on there than it does on this screen. Because for those who don't know, when I would usually play my Switch and stream it, I usually play it from the preview window off of OBS Studio. That's how I play the games on stream. I don't have a dual monitor setup, and I don't have it set up to where I can play it off the TV and monitor it on the computer screen. So that's how I would play my Switch for the longest time. But one day I was like, it was I think it was that Saturday because my wife worked that Saturday. She came home to get me up, and I was like, hey, before you go to work, can you switch over the switch to the actual TV? And she was like, yeah, let me do it real quick. So she did it. She plugged it in. She plugged it all in, all that good stuff, like she always does. Because I can't plug in stuff like that myself. Well, the switch I probably could have, but I couldn't unplug it from down on the surge protector I have everything plugged into over here. So she plugged it on real quick. She left. I was like, okay, I want to play Metroid, and I was actually blown away by how good it actually looked remastered. Because if you go back and look at the GameCube version to 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 now to the new remaster, it's like night and day different. I didn't realize how different it looked because my memory of Metroid Prime was very skewed because I barely played the GameCube version. But when I was like 40% of the way through it, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look up old gameplay of the GameCube version, just stock gameplay footage from a GameCube and not like Dolphin upscaled or anything like that. And I was like, holy crap, they did a lot of work to this that I didn't even realize. Because I always thought the game looked really freaking good anyway, which it does. It still looks good today for a GameCube game, but holy shit, they did so much work to the textures and just the lighting, the environments, even the way Samus's face looks, like in that final scene when you see her with her helmet off. Um, it just looks so much cleaner and crisper. It almost looks like a modern day Switch game. It doesn't look like it was a remaster of a GameCube game to me anyway. And I'm not trying to upsell this remaster. I'm just being honest. That's the way it felt to me when I played it and when I finished it. But when I was playing through it at first, I remembered why I didn't like the controls. The controls always felt off to me because you really couldn't aim precisely in the GameCube version at least, which is the only one I ever played. I know the Wii version they switched it to the Wiimote nunchuck, but I can't play the Wii because of motion controls and my cerebral palsy limits what I can play on the Wii. So when I started messing with the controls, I inverted the controls to where look was like down was up and up was down because I'm used to it because of GoldenEye. Call me an old man, but that's the way I'm used to it. I know a lot of my friends that are younger than me are like, how do you play games like that? That's so jarring. To me, that's how I grew up playing FPSs, so that's what I'm used to. That's why I switch it. That's why I invert the axis all the time when I do that. So I did that, made it a lot better. But the one thing that was difficult for me was shoulder buttons. Always, I always have difficulty with shoulder buttons. If anything is on the left hand side of the controller, I always have trouble doing it, like aiming or shooting, whatever. I always have trouble pressing the button with my left hand index finger because I can't fire it nearly as quickly or hold down as easily as I can with this hand. So I had to go in the actual Switch system menu control and modify the controls how I wanted them to be. And that made the game so much easier for me. And I was actually able to play it more proficiently than I would have been able to back on the GameCube. Now, I still have my original GameCube disc, and it's actually still complete with the manual, the case, and all that stuff. Because we bought it back in the day. So I might try to go back through it on the GameCube to see if I can. But I think it'll be a little bit harder for me because I'm not sure what the controls are like on the original GameCube version. Um, but I know this version made the controls a whole hell of a lot easier for me, and that's one of the reasons why I really gravitated towards it as I started playing it. I started to realize how fluid the controls were and how satisfying the jumping was and all this aiming and all this other stuff. But the reason I didn't stream it was because I honestly didn't know what I was doing in the game. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I used a walkthrough at like the 35 to 40% mark because I knew I was missing a ton of like missile upgrades and I didn't know any of the layout of of the overworld. Like I had no idea where I was going, and they really don't tell you where to go. I mean, I got stuck in the magma caverns because I didn't know where I was supposed to go. So I usually walked through a little bit, and then I stopped for a while. I figured out more of it. Got through to like 55, 60% of it. Realized I missed like 4 or 5 upgrades. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go back through and get all these upgrades when I beat the game like I usually do. I'm just gonna beat the game and get through an area and then go back and use a walkthrough to get the stuff I missed in that area before I move on to a different area. So that's what I did. If I cleared through an area, I I went through a walkthrough, found what I missed, and then proceeded on. That's how I did it. That's why I didn't stream it, because I had no idea what I was doing. And I don't think it would have been enjoyable for you guys to watch me, one, die quite a few times in the game, two, be very lost and confused to where I was actually supposed to go in the game, because I had no idea. So that's why I chose not to stream it. And plus, I just wanted to kind of like enjoy it and not have to like. And I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful to my audience, but I didn't want to have to interact with people while I was playing, especially a game I've never really played before. And I actually wanted to like really sit down and like really immerse myself in it and really enjoy it. And I really did. I really enjoyed that. And I have an eyelash. Hold on. Okay, sorry, I had an eyelash in my eye. Anyway, um, so yeah, that's why I didn't want to stream it. But I, I know you guys don't understand that because a lot of people really don't like to stream anyway. But I do. That's what I enjoy about YouTube. I enjoy streaming the most. I don't really enjoy doing content like this, to be honest, because I'm not very good at it. I'm better at interacting with people live than I am with creating content like this. But I want to do a video about this because it's probably shocking to some people that I never played Metroid Prime, even though I had it back in the day. I never sat down and played it myself until today. But I did watch my younger brother, play it. Because I vividly remember doing the Ridley fight, the Meta Ridley fight, which at the time I didn't realize how close to the end of the game that actually was. That he's basically the penultimate boss fight before um, the Metroid Prime. So I never realized that until like playing through the game. Because every time I would get like farther in the game and I would reload the save and be at like 70%, then I'm like, where the hell is Ridley at? I know he's in this game because I have the fight music on my phone because I love that rendition of that music. That's one of my favorite tracks in the Metroid series is the Ridley boss fight music. Um, but I was like, where the hell is Ridley? So I scrolled through and played through, and I was like, I was trying to find him, and thank God one of the playthroughs had chapter segments made, and they actually had a chapter segment that said Meta Ridley, and it was like 3.5, 4 hours into it, which was almost the end of the playthrough. I'm like, holy crap! I did not realize Ridley was like that far into the game. Because back in the day, I remember when my brother got to Ridley, I was like, hey, let me try to beat him because I want to see if I can beat him. And I got pretty close to beating him, but I didn't beat him because he's actually pretty difficult because he does a lot of damage to you. And plus, I didn't really know what the hell the controls were. But I didn't die with him this time, but because I almost did, but I didn't because I kind of remembered his pattern from back in the day because I actually really liked the fight. The area was cool, so I enjoyed it. I remembered it because it looked cool. Because when I found the area in the game and got one of the artifacts, because there, there's there's one artifact in the area where you're fighting, and I went there by accident, just looking around, and got the artifact. I'm like, this room looks like the room where you fight Ridley, and I was like, I think it is. I didn't want to look it up because I didn't want to spoil it, but as like I closed it in the game, like I said, I got frustrated because I was like, where is Ridley at? I know he's in this game, and that's what I was like. Yeah, I remember because it's rainy and he's like swooping in and he's making bird sounds. It was, I don't know. It's a really cool fight. But my favorite fight in the entire game, besides Ridley, was actually the Metroid fight, the spider it version of it. It kind of reminded me of Stephen King and the spider. That's what it kind of reminded me of. It kind of looked like that. But that fight was really cool. I love how you have to switch between, no spoilers, but you have to like switch between the different beams you have in the game to damage the boss, and I thought that was really cool. Um, it's a really cool boss fight. And the last form, you have to use the different visors to affect it when it like cloaks itself. And I thought that was really cool as well. So overall, the entire game was just I can see why people say it's one of the best GameCube games to and one of the best Metroid games. It probably is a masterpiece in how you take a franchise like Metroid and turn it into a first person shooter. Because you guys gotta remember something. When I was growing up, Metroid to me was a third person game where you were walking around traversing as Samus and you saw her body and you were jumping around, flipping, doing all this weird stuff. The Metroid Prime was very off putting to me. And I think to my older brother to some extent as well. Um, because we grew up with Samus being full body. You saw what you were doing. It was third person view. You weren't. It was 2D. It wasn't 3D. And we just it never really grabbed us, and it never really grabbed me. We always liked the music of it. The music was always really cool. We loved like the Magmore Caverns because it was basically a rendition of Lower Norfair, which was one of our favorite musics in Super Metroid. So we always enjoyed the music, but we just didn't love the gameplay. And looking back on it, I think if I would have been able to sit down and actually play the game from start to finish myself, I would have more appreciated it for what it was back then than I do now. Because I feel like I'm way late to the game in the appreciation of Metroid Prime and what it did for the Metroid series of games. Because I believe if if we can get anything from Metroid Prime 4, that they're not going to mess this formula up. Because I'm assuming Metroid Prime 2 and 3 improved on what Metroid Prime did. Even back in the day when it was on GameCube and got ported to the Wii for the trilogy. But I don't know. I just wanted to do a video about this because I I always thought that me not playing Metroid was very strange. Metroid Prime was very strange, and people would always look at me like, "How can you not play this game? It's one of the greatest GameCube games ever." And I'm like, I don't know, it just never grabbed me. But now it's grabbed me to the point where I'm like, okay, I kind of want to play through the original, but I don't know if I can go back and play it now with how much better this looks. I think I can, but um, I'll wait a little bit to do it. But let me know what you guys think about Metroid Prime Remastered. Did you guys enjoy it? Are you guys kind of miffed that I didn't stream it? A lot of you probably won't care, but I know some of you probably would want me to stream more games like that. But I did, honestly, guys, like I said, I just wanted to enjoy it. But let me know what you guys thought about this video and Metroid Prime in general. Thanks for watching, guys. And thank you to my Patreon supporters and my membership people for supporting the channel. It really helps out the channel a lot. If you're supporting our memberships, memberships are $5 a month. I believe it's a month. I don't know how memberships really work. And Patreon is dollar a month, or you can do more than that if you guys want. But it really does help with the channel a lot. That's why I was able to get this camera and this new mic. So thank you guys for supporting the channel. Special shout outs go to Matt Y99, Reaper7734, Tyler Cow, Harry Fernandez, AJ Godwell, Oliver Frederick, Zoa Adfrey, It's Me Charles, Joe, William Swift, Griff17, Charlie McKeon, Reverse Security, Zoo Hall, Artistic Tomahawk, Prelay Ab, Just Drew, Ari Insane, HHG Fan, George McConnell, X Taintus, Elliot Scott, and Benjamin Talent. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and thank you guys to anybody that subscribes to the channel or decides to support me on Patreon. It really helps out a lot. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and go check out Metroid Prime. It's a really good game. It's really fun. I think you guys will enjoy it if you like Metroid. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry for the lack of content again. I'll try to be more consistent in the future, but I've just been really enjoying myself lately, just kind of just enjoying life in general. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out. Much love to y'all.